Hi, I'm Nathan Klein, and this is my OER journey. So I first learned about OER probably way back in 2017, maybe even a little earlier than that. I saw OpenStax and I saw that it was a free textbook, but I didn't know, you know, what Open Educational Systems was. So it was probably 2017 when I started to learn about open educational resources. And it was our librarian who introduced that to me. And I was amazed that I could take a text and just copy and paste it into my course, my online course. And it became very interesting to me because one of the things I was doing at the time was trying to pull in different resources to make my courses a little bit more into the into the current era. You know, I kind of felt like the lecture lab biology concepts that have been coming about for many years were kind of old fashioned and we needed to move forward. And so I used a whole bunch of resources, online resources, to try and bring in video and quiz and to make it more interactive. But the problem I was having was my textbook was a commercial textbook, and I couldn't do that in some of the resources that were out there, and so it wasn't working. Um, and so when I found out about open educational resources and that I could pull them into something that I could customize, it caught my attention. And so that's how I got started. So we had lots of guest speakers early on that our librarian brought in, and they were interesting, but it hadn't caught fire yet to me until I started to really start to dig deep into what I wanted to do. So I kind of had to ask my why. Why was I doing what I was doing? Why was I teaching the way I was teaching? Anyway, so I had to begin to dig deep in order to figure out why I wanted to do this, because it didn't catch right away. The OER fire did not catch immediately. Um, Even though I was excited about the potential of being able to customize my own materials, it wasn't quite there yet because I was focusing on uh, something else. Okay. And so, but as I began to realize that what my why was for teaching and what OER was actually very, very close or synergistic to each other, that I realized that it fit my why 100%. And so I became very excited about OER. And when an opportunity presented itself for me to lead our faculty in open educational resources, I jumped on it. And then the bonfire just exploded with open educational resources for me. Now, early on, I did with OER was adopt. Uh, OpenStax was probably the most common thing for me to do. I really hadn't considered the idea that I might put something out there for others to use. And so when I first became the faculty lead for OER at our institution, I had to start asking questions like, well, what do I do? How do I learn about OER? And I started attending conferences virtually online. There's a ton of conferences all over the place. And one of them I attended was from the university. Well, actually, I don't even know if it was from the University State of Michigan. And they had an OER conference. And there was, ironically, a person from Ohio State University speaking there. And if you know, Michigan, Ohio State, Anyway, I'm from Ohio, so I listened intently to the person from Ohio State, and she opened my eyes to all sorts of resources that are available out there. And I was so grateful for that presentation. And then she offered at the end of her presentation to, make appointments and talk with her one on one. And so I did. And we talked, and she gave me a whole bunch of resources that I could use to help other people with. And over time, going to different conferences and looking and watching different things that are available on the web. There's a ton of stuff available on the web. I began to learn and to grow. And the other thing that really helped me was just going out and helping others figure out what they want to do and how they want to develop their open educational resource. And it was amazing, amazing to watch other people around me at my institution grow. And I am glad that I've had a part of that. The other thing that was kind of inspiring to me about open educational resources is looking for what could be. And there are two things that I just get inspired by. I'm a technology nerd. You can see by my shirt that I'm all about AI. And AI, the integration or the evolution of AI over the last couple of years has been absolutely amazing. And so technology, as it has increased, has also inspired me to see what can we do? What is the potential for teaching with technology, right? And so AI certainly has been something that we're working on. I've got a couple of OERs that I've been developing that I hope to publish on OER Commons that are AI based. In fact, I should probably publish one of those today so that it's available. Anyway, and then the other thing that is the potential is video. I mean, I think especially for online classes, the potential for video and how it can incorporate all sorts of learning. This generation that we're teaching right now is very visually based. They love visual learning, and so this little studio that we've got right here is an example of that. We're trying our best to provide the very, very best in audiovisual technology to our faculty and staff here, and we've developed a studio for that process. Faculty are part of my family, and I love working with faculty as part of my role as faculty lead on OER. I just love working with them and helping them teach and finding good ways to teach. It makes me excited. Another thing that I think is incredibly inspiring to me and just really gets me excited about OER is the potential for collaboration across institutions. I've been able to get involved in two collaborative projects, Bio 100 Biology Concepts, where our institution and Cochise College have got together to work together on a bit of a lab. And then the second thing would be Bio 181, where the 181 lab is also getting a new lab manual, and we're using resources from all over the state in order to put that together. And I think that's amazing that we can work together. I think it helps us know what everyone else is teaching. It helps us work together to make better content. And when everyone is doing better, then I think our students do better. And it's just exciting to me that we can work together across institutions to make a better resource. So I love collaboration. So what's the trick to collaboration? Well, I'd like to tell you that just getting on Zoom with your colleagues across the state would work, but the thing that really made it work is that we started by getting together in the same room in person and just spent the morning together talking about our content and how we wanted to put this together. So I would encourage anyone who's thinking about collaborating to find a way to get together in person if possible, because that really just seems to help. I've tried other situations where we started out on a Zoom call and it just didn't seem to click because you didn't make that personal connection that is available through a one-on-one meeting. So our efforts across our institution have saved, as of the last reporting year, so we're almost into our third year, end of our third year now. So this doesn't include this year, but we were up at $170,000 of savings for our students in basically 2 years of recording, and that's just for those that have been part of the Rural Arizona Grant, and not all the other OERs that occurred before that. I'm sure it's much, much higher. And for our small institution, I think that's amazing that we are there. And I know other institutions are much higher because they have more students, but for us, that is a huge windfall for our students. And I think it makes it more engaging for our professors as well to know that we're benefiting them. And I think it's also awesome that we're probably increasing enrollment. I don't know that yet. I need to do that research to find out. And I know we have the numbers to find out. I just haven't done it yet, looked at the numbers yet. Anyway, that's my story on open educational research, open educational materials, and I hope you enjoy it. Have a great day. Bye. One additional exciting thing with OER that has also been a huge blessing for me has been the opportunity to get involved in some OER leadership across the state in OER Arizona. And they are just looking for people who are interested in sharing the good word about OER, open educational resources. And because of that, anyone can participate in OER Arizona leadership if you're really interested, whether it is an instruction or institutional representative. They take all sorts of people who are just simply interested in OER, which is amazing. And for whatever reason, too. So I've told you my why. I love technology. I want to find better ways to teach my students. And I want my students to have access on day one. And I don't want them to be hindered by the cost of some exorbitant fee that is required for a course. And so this is why I do things, but you might have a different why. And all of us can come together for the reason of building open educational resources. And I think that's amazing.